So replay crew, I'm back, take two, because the algorithm overlords don't like me for some reason, nor does my internet provider, apparently. They do nothing to fix it. So let's try this take two, see how that goes. I'm very disheartened with all of this. It's ridiculous. And I bet yeah, take two, Robert. This is BS. Total BS. Didn't like everything showing 5x5 on here. Nothing. Just spinning wheel of death when I'm looking at it, just like what you guys are. So it's kind of odd. Kind of odd. But all I can do is just take it on the chin and keep moving. Really. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. So let's see if this works. And I don't lose it again. Because I have a feeling I'm going to lose it again. So we shall see. I'm going to try and pull up. That way I have my phone up so I can see it on here too. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, how are you faring today, Robert? I was getting all excited because I was just getting rolling and gonna start getting into some cool stuff, but I get the old just how life goes. That's always I always hate that. They don't insulate that crap from static in the line, and it's stupid. I mean, oh, it's grounded, it's grounded. Yeah, but they do nothing for static inside the units. It all gets built up. I used to have like a really cool trick. Obviously, if something's not plugged in, you do this. But the two prongs or three prongs, take a couple screwdrivers, stick down and like discharge the capacitors that are in the electronic device. If you discharge the capacitors, a lot of times it isn't storing the energy anymore. And then you get a true reset on the device. I have fixed probably hundreds of pieces of electronic equipment that way. Just works. Something we learned back in digital electronics and microprocessor class and stuff when I was in school. And yeah, a lot of people don't do it. But we have to wear like static straps and stuff when we're building the electronics to keep the static out of the circuit boards and stuff and frying chips. Well, they're in there, but what's happening to dissipate static inside that unit? Nothing. So if you discharge those capacitors, it releases that. And a lot of times you get a true reset, not just unplugging it, waiting 15 seconds and plugging it back in. No, you can unplug something for 10 minutes. And if you don't short that out there to discharge capacitors, it's still going to store that energy. It will degrade over time, but it's still going to store that energy until you release it. We used to blow stuff up in electronics class with capacitors like that. Set up a wire from a breadboard and have a switch there. Run a capacitor into a soda bottle with the lid just barely turned onto it. And then taking somebody walk in, we could see out the door when somebody go to walk into the classroom and would hit the clacker and blow the lid off the soda bottle and scare the crap out of them. We used to have fun with that. I'm guessing nobody's really getting to Get the notification that I went take two. Ooh. If it hit your Joey, did it affect the hopper at all? Because a lot of times with those type of systems, the if the Joey gets hit, it'll send a spike back through and either blow out the node or end up taking out one of the tuners in a hopper. I've seen that several times. End up having to replace half of a freaking satellite system because that kind of stuff. Unless you're talking about a different Joey. I always think it's funny. My phone will be just chill, quiet, no notifications, nobody getting a hold of me. I sit down to do something like this or record the podcast, and then I start getting machine gun texts. Always happens. Like half the house out of power. That sucks. That sucks. I mean, of all things, lightning is always going to find its way. It's kind of like water. It's always going to find its way through. We did testing back in 2002, 2003, where we tried different types of ground systems. And we did like your regular ground rods. We had like the regular electric grid ground. We had bonding clamps. We did corner clamps on meter boxes. We did cold water pipe. We did an actual ground grid where it's a few ground rods drove in, and then there's a mesh between, like so far down underground, like a metal mesh that ties all the ground rods together, and then everything gets buried up, and then you have the one lead that comes out. So you have like a grid. We tried all that stuff. We tried AC lightning arresting, DC lightning arresting, all these different types of ground, and it didn't matter. If lightning wanted to come through, it was coming through. It will arc, it will jump. I mean, it comes from the sky, hits the ground, right? It's trying to hit ground. Doesn't matter what, even if there was no ground, nothing, it still found a way. It was, we used to have like different sensors and stuff hooked up to the different things so we could measure stuff. Lightning struck, from what we were reported, lightning struck 3 miles away. Groundswell came through, and underwater or underground water currents all through different places. It made its way through the ground and it hit the ground rod and came up the ground rod and backfed into the system. That was kind of a shock. I was really shocked to see that. But you can measure that right on that ground rod with the sensors we had, and it was showing, like, I forget how many kilovolts came through. It was insane. It was so stupid. Like, hey, we're supposed to ground. The NEC says we're supposed to ground. Well, if I didn't have a ground on that, it might not have got hit. Just does what it wants. Yeah, it was insane, man. The conclusion we came to in all of our testing was there's no rhyme or reason, like you said. If it wants to find a way, it'll find a way. The path of least resistance, it'll always take it, even if it has to arc and jump from one thing to another. If it wants to hit it, it's going to have to find its way, and it always uses the path of least resistance. So it's almost like it's destined to take out your crap. Yep. With water tables being different, you can have it hit a tree and the roots go down in. Roots carry water to the tree, right? So it'll ride those tree roots down, and roots generally go to where the ground's damp. Well, then there it can go any direction. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but kind of cool how that stuff works. How's the missus doing, Robert? Hopefully she's still recovering and on the up and up and on the mend. Good. Glad to hear that. Very glad to hear that. Oh, mercy. Good. Yeah, my buddy actually just had surgery here on the 11th, had his gallbladder out. Kid's only 30, and he had to have his gallbladder out. And he thought, oh, yeah, it's just, laparoscopic, little go in. And he finding out, he's like, I feel like death inside me. I'm like, I told you, dude. It was not going to be like some walk in the park. You're going to just get up off the bed and be able to mix it up, man. You're going to have to take your time and rest. He's like, but I feel like my insides are going to explode. And I'm like, try to tell you. So the trick is to get him to like rest his ass. Yep. Got to rest your ass and relax. You got to get up and move to get the gases out of you and stuff. But because, when they blow up your meat suit, it's not like you can just go and push that gas out or burp it out or something. It's not inside you. It's in the cavity. So you got to walk it out and like be moving and active to get it to like dissipate. But oh yeah. So, well, I ended up scoring something here a while back. Our friends we went to go visit last night. He gave me this pouch. It was a SOG pouch. Apparently, his mom got a backpack or something, and this pouch came with it and was attached to it. And she's like, well, she took it off. She didn't just set it there. She's like, I don't have any use for it. Well, then he got it. And my buddy's like, I got no use for this. I can't get it to work on anything I need. I don't really need it for anything. And I'm like, dude, my gas mask will fit that pouch. So he gave it to me and I put my gas mask in it, right? Well, long story short, the pouch is black. And I'm not trying to be a ninja anymore. I want to blend. I want to be tans, ranger greens, OD greens, browns, stuff like that. So I wanted to make it camo. I was going to paint it. However, I went another route. Because I just didn't feel like painting the dang thing. And it's been so freaking humid here. And in our climate here, if you try to paint anything and it's below like 75 degrees outside and a high humidity, you don't get paint to stick for crap. I tried painting some stuff in the past and it just did not want to work right. So because of weather, I went another route. It seemed to work out good. So don't mind me getting up to grab this. Just my belt. What I did is I took and I bought one of the Spanker leg shingles to attach to my belt here. And I made my own scrim cover for it. So it's all scrimmed up. This thing breaks off nice and easy. I got a bungee retention on here. I can just undo the bungee, grab the zipper, and open it. And I have full access to the gas mask inside. I do have some real estate left on this leg shingle that I could do some stuff with, but I don't think I'm going to, just for the sake of the weight. This thing fits pretty good. Has elastic, bungee kind of leg straps to it. Seems to fit well. I was running around with it up and down the steps, jumping, doing jumping jacks and like hill climb. It was holding up good. So I went the scrim route versus painting it. So that way I could keep it intact in its original. The paint wasn't going to really adhere to it really well. As dry as I could have it environment wise in my garage, I couldn't get it hot enough with low enough humidity without like completely like gassing myself out from the paint. Right. So I went this route since I do this kind of stuff, the scrim stuff. I was like, okay, I'll do that. Seemed to work out pretty good. So I haven't got to field test it yet. I got to test it here in the house, but once I do get to field test it, I'll drop a post or something, or a short video or something about this guy and how it works out. These leg shingles are actually kind of cool. If you're trying to pack something along, you don't necessarily want on your belt line, you can drop it down onto a leg shingle, and they can adjust the height. Um, the nice thing about the leg shingle too is I can just pop it right off if I'm not going to use it. It just undo this, undo the Velcro, pull it right off. I can leave it behind. If you're wanting to like throw maybe a couple pistol mags on here or a multi-tool, Levi, what's up, buddy? You could throw some that kind of stuff on here. It definitely has enough real estate for it. I mean, it's holding my entire gas mask on here. So the cool part about this size of this cover for this pack, why I kind of want to keep this the way it is because this thing here can actually fit over my boonie cap. It can fit over my baseball cap. It can fit over my the same scrim will fit on a helmet if I need to. If I have my helmet all scrimmed up, but if I grab one of the other ones that I don't have scrimmed, like a mesh style or something, I can throw this over top of it and cinch it down in the back, tuck the extra shock cord up underneath, and away I go. I got a impromptu gas mask pouch / helmet or head covering scrim for covering that up. So that's the newest addition to the metal family here. You were talking about painting stuff. You were talking about painting stuff there, Robert. Around the zipper area to prevent it from getting caught in the zipper. Yeah, I mean, I just pop it over and it slides down, and I have it like looped underneath. So if it falls away, it's still going to be on retention. So I can just keep it there, unzip it, do my thing, get it out, just pull the scrim cover back up over it, cinch it down quick, gas mask on. Or gas mask on and then do that rather. But yeah, the scrim will go on it can go on the helmet. My helmet is a little bit different, and I got to grab something else here I was going to show you. So my helmet, just a bump helmet. Did my own scrim on it. I can still get access to all the Velcro and stuff here for the counterweight. I can still slide the counterweight up underneath it, and the scrim will, just lay over top of it, have full access to my arc rails. NB comes in okay, no problem there. I haven't painted this up yet, but this isn't my final evolution with the J-arm. Switching that out at some point here, probably within the next few months, to do something a little bit better. I got this for the time for the PVS 14 I have. It works okay. No complaint there. It's just I want something better. But yeah, I mean, as y'all can see, I got the whole way around. And what's cool with these type of helmets is you can take off like your little screws and stuff here and your rails, and you can tuck stuff underneath and then tighten it back down. If you go to the inside here, see if I can position this so y'all can see, like up underneath here, you got the scrim coming up over here, and I just loosened screw right there, poked a little hole in the scrim, and then attached it right there. Just give it a nice attachment point. Did that on both sides. I did it over here, and I did it over here. So I got both sides. Bump helmet, brain bucket. I like the bump helmet. This originally was tan, but I gave it a camo treat, and then I turned around and put the scrim on it because I kind of like it. I eventually would like to get another one. I use this just as like ACR. Welcome, brother. I like using this one as like my just training one. Go around, just something to keep my beautiful bald head from getting knocked. Jackson, welcome, brother. Yeah, I just wanted something just to keep my dome from getting I'm always getting like bumped in the head and like tree branches and crap when I'm mowing and weed eating and working and doing stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get something like this if I'm gonna go crashing around doing cool guy stuff, right? So I like this. It's done well for me, but I do think I'm going to I do think I'm gonna get another one just because I want some kind of better setup than what this has. Something a little bit more substantial than like an airsoft helmet. I mean, let's face it. If you take a rifle round to the dome, what even if you're wearing a ballistic helmet, chances are you're getting your eggs scrambled. So I don't really care. I know if I'm taking one to the dome, I'm done. Is what it is. I'd rather be done than be. So yeah, I'll stick with like the non-ballistics, but I want something a little bit heavier duty than what these guys are. I know that's still going to run me about $300-400, whereas this thing was like $40-50. But it's something that I can at least mount my night vision to, and I can at least work with, right? So there's that with the scrim. But you're talking about painting, and these are actually my ghillie boots. These are the ones I wear whenever I do ghillie guy stuff. Took and I painted them all up, threw some greens, some tan, some brown, some little bit of blacks here and there just for accents and stuff. Um, I painted these up because, as you can see, the tops were like the coyote. I painted these up so that way, whenever I am wearing the ghillie, I do have more of a camo look on the ground of the woods or wherever I am. Chances are, if I'm ghillieing, I'm in the woods. I'm not going to ghillie if I'm in a field or something like that and wide open, generally. Viper hood, that kind of stuff, most of the time. But yeah, with this, it gave me something to add some greens and stuff like that, so that tan isn't just popping out there. My typical boots, they're a little bit different. They're already kind of camoed up. This, the army green side zips. These things are actually pretty cool. They have the composite toe. I like having composite toes, not steel toes. In my fighting boots, I always do composite toes. Um, kind of nice not having your toes getting kerschmackled whenever you're crashing around like an idiot. But good grip on them forward and backward. Water resistant. They do have a sleeve inside the side zip to keep the water out, and these things do an amazing job. Same kind of boots I use for work, except I just got these since I'm used to them. I got these so that way I'm keeping the same boot, except I wanted something camoed, and they're kind of cool. So there's that for the camos and the scrims and stuff as of right now. So let me catch up here. Plate carrier video is awesome, twin. Yeah, checked out the chest rig one. That was a good one. Like that. COD ACR's plate carrier video. I don't have to. I'm not really revisiting mine. It's kind of me. Nobody even watched it anyway. So, yeah, the cake eaters definitely don't think of. They don't think of stuff. It's like me, not their problem. Bates boots are USMC's Bates boots are pretty. They're pretty substantial. I like them. Yep. Oh yeah, you wake up real quick, fast, and in a hurry whenever you get your toes freaking all hemmed up. Twin, I can't even count how many freaking packs I have. I got like 9, 10, 12. I got 12 of them sitting right here in the room. Plus, I got more in the storage utility room behind this. So, and I got more upstairs and more in the truck, more in the. It's an addiction, really. You pack whores. Pouring hot coffee on your feet works too. That'd be cool, Twin. That'd be cool. I look forward to seeing that. But it's Father's Day. I decided to wear one of my dad's shirts. The shirt was my dad's. So I decided to wear dad's shirt today. Did somebody say whores? Like, I picture that as like the old prospector, you know, with the white beard and all that, with the hat and the suspenders. Whores? 12 is better. Right. 2 is 1, 1 is none, and 15 is pretty good. The Cartman. Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
What we have here is a failure to communicate, you guys. Now, what we have to do is make sure that whenever Twin decides that he's finally going to get his 12 and all those knives, then you have to show us what that looks like. Because Kai's mom is a big fat bitch. She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world, you guys. Thank you very much, sir. I pride myself on being able to do an actual effective Eric Cartman. You talk about shitty chicken, I need to tear down my shitty wall. You guys.
Yeah. I go off doing Cartman at work all the time. There's a guy, what's his name? What is his name? I can see his Fernando Euphrain or something like that. He puts on the beanie and he's sitting there with his big black beard and his glasses and he plays songs and sings them like Cartman, and he's pretty fucking great. He's pretty freaking great at it. Yeah, it's like Ferdinand Euphrain or something like that. Yeah, he's awesome. Twin, when the time comes to go to the AR9 for her, let me know. Or regardless, I'll send you the info for like the MP5 style 9mm panel that'll just plug in. So all good, Levi. Do what you got to do, man. Got to cut that grass. Wife already took care of the yard on Thursday when it was still nice here, and so I was thankful for that. Next day I'm going to be able to mow because of rain over at the old folks home is going to be like Friday. I'm like, it's going to be such a pain in the, because yeah, I didn't get to it this past week because I worked late shift. So then this coming week when I'm early shift, when I would, it's just going to rain all week. So hell with it. I'll hit it Friday. If I need a snorkel, I'll need a snorkel. Whatever.
I just don't care, you guys.
Oh, yes. So looking at all the things and all the stuff that was going on here yesterday, at least domestically, riots were continuing, weren't they? Ooh, 30-day vacation. That'd be nice. I wish I had even like a 2-day vacation. Roger that. Gotcha, Twin. But yeah, the riots, like, they were kind of still going on, right? But we weren't seeing as much in the headlines about them. Seattle was going off. Levi said Utah, they were kind of getting down. My daughter was down in Virginia for a grad party And she's down around Williamsburg, and they said, yeah, it was getting kind of busy there. I'll put it that way, but nothing like violent or anything like that. A lot of people though. Yeah, but I'm not really seeing much in the headlines about like the riot aspect of things like LA and New York and all that. Philly was getting a little bit turn up here. Nothing was really truly going on in Pittsburgh as far as rioting or anything. But there's protests everywhere, allegedly. Most of the actual protesters were, from what I was seeing, what I was reading, from what I was told, were like your typical like Karens, and the old boomer fuds with them, walking around holding up their homemade signs and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't like anything like super organized. I do know it was getting spicy down in around Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin, down that way. I do know, as Warrior said, up in Wisconsin, it was starting to get a little bit spicy. But you always have those agent provocateurs that kind of get in there and start nudging things. We didn't have anything here. I honestly thought if anything was going to come down, it was going to come down and it'd just be, whatever, but nothing. Yeah, down in Clayton. Yeah, Clayton's only about about a half hour from Raleigh. It's funny, as I was wearing my North Carolina Highway Patrol shirt. Yeah, which I'm going to get into that here in a second, Twin. I am Pat. Welcome, sir. I am glad nothing like big, bad, nasty happened. Everybody pretty much kept their cool. I'm going to be talking about that in the podcast here. I kind of talked to my local Merry Band of Misfits about it. And it's like, okay, in 20, people were going out, standing up, doing the thing, like opposition, right? At this point in things, I would rather not show face, not show numbers, keep that under the radar. So then that way, whenever something does happen, your opposition doesn't know your numbers. They don't know who's showing up, where they're showing up from, anything like that. I'd rather keep it on the down low and keep it covert. If anything, a couple people walking around, like walking the dog or something, and just, neb shitting on stuff versus like having a full on like 50 yeehaws out there in full kit, you know, even if you're trying to go gray man, um, you're not really going gray man because you're showing a presence. Even if you're just like walking through, like eating an ice cream cone or something, or enjoying a Slurpee or something, walking through around the area, yeah, but I don't know. I'd rather avoid it at all costs. We see enough footage. We see enough game footage from it, from those who can't stay away. So watch the game tapes and adjust accordingly. That's my take on it. So Johnny was doing all the big nasty. I bet he was. Yeah, Girth Brooks, he got himself a little bit of fun. Got himself into a little bit of fun. Yeah, like Warrior said, it's like if you offer up an opposition side, stuff will escalate, whatever degree. If you're not giving opposition, they say their stuff, they say their piece, chances are they're not going to escalate and start getting into any kind of like shenanigans. So I don't want to give them that opportunity to escalate from their side, or somebody from our side escalate things. So I'd rather just keep it on the down low, steer clear, watch what happens, how it unfolds. If nobody's there to provoke either side, chances are it's going to be just meh, where most places was. Like you said, there are areas where it got a little spicy. Why is it so spicy? You know, but don't give them the opportunity. Just let them pass. Wait a minute. Oh, so they painted some stuff down there. Well, huh. Yeah, one of my buddies, well, a couple of my buddies were down around Gettysburg there. They said there were some people out, but they didn't really see anything like going on. I'm guessing it's those agent provocateurs that I was talking about that were doing the painting. Typically those are the guys carrying the black and the red flags. Good old Aunt Tifa. People being drunk Wisconsin people. Oh yeah, they'll definitely go. They'll go at it over the Packers and the Bears for sure. Wait a minute. Oh, did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? That's the Andrew call. Just making a little puncher's chance here. Little bit of puncher's chance. I'm gonna unveil the new bourbon on Wednesday. Yep. Little puncher's chance right here. I like the new stuff better than that. That's really good. Not hating on it. Don't want Mike Tyson to come kick my ass. But I do like it. I do like Puncher's Chance. Don't get me wrong. It's great. It's a heavyweight champ. But this new stuff that Sergeant Major Wifey got me for Father's Day, so good. Can't wait to like talk about it Wednesday. And I'm saving it for Wednesday. So yeah, I had sampling for science reasons. But yeah, it good to hell. Truly good to hell. And I'm of the opinion I need to get myself a new spitter for the desk here. Starting to run heavy on this one. So after I get done with the live here, I am going to be doing episode 56 of the Tin Man podcast. Titling this one Protests, Unrest, and an Out of Step Formation. Gonna record that up here, and then I'm going to get into doing the typical happy Sunday kind of things. Get some laundry done, do some cleaning up, and yeah, beyond that, I have no freaking clue. No clue. And I'm okay with that. I was like, well, maybe I'll play some video games. I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. I thought maybe, okay, well, one thing I am thinking about doing is going and making friends with that drum kit over there for a while. And I was also kind of thinking about going to the store, getting some hot dogs and some buns and bag of chips or something, and maybe firing up the smoker, smoking some dogs, and maybe grab a cigar out in the back porch or something. That'd be kind of cool. Gotcha, twin. Just eat a bunch of beans and hook the tube up to your butt and just keep filling it. I'm kidding. 8 mags is not a bad place to be. Paying tribute to 101st. It's the old Screaming Eagles, man. Hell yeah. Agitators meet alligators. Yeah. Crocodiles meet pedophiles. Crocodiles meet pedophiles. Airborne all the way. Hoo-ah. Nah, they don't get a pass from prison. No. No. Best I can do is 2 broken kneecaps. That's the least I can do. 2 broken kneecaps for any agitators. If the alligator doesn't just completely take them out, now I'm taking out them knees. I'm really excited to try lead slingers. I cannot find 1835. I cannot find lead slingers. I can no longer get my Nelson brothers. I can no longer get a lot of the ones that I like. They've just discontinued them or they don't carry them anymore. But they have that new one that I'm going to unveil on Wednesday. Though my last bastion of hope is to go down and see the ATF down Grit Grace's area, and see if the ATF carries them. It's called Chestnut Ridge Liquor Store, but we call it the ATF because of alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. They have a huge selection of alcohol. A state store, liquor store. They have a huge beer distributor there. They have all kinds of tobacco stuff, and they also have a big selection, so to speak, of different types of ammunition. Some of it's like obscure ammo and things like that, that you can't find anywhere else. You can find ammo there. Little sporting goods area and stuff there too. That's why we call it the ATF. So I need to go check the ATF and see if they have any of those, because if they do, I'm set. I was relying on my cousin out there in Wisconsin for the cool bourbons and stuff like that, but he doesn't get back here as often. I have yet to be able to get out there. It's so difficult for us to be able to travel, but yeah, maybe one of these days I'll get into some lead slingers or 1835 and we'll see how it goes. The Shiv Gauntlet. Yeah, was it Enzo from Assassin's Creed? Just where in Wisconsin? He is up around Menasha area there. Yeah, Menasha. Appleton, somewhere up in that general area. It's such a pain in the ass for us to go anywhere, literally to even run to Altoona or run to Greensburg or run 40 minutes down the road to the ATF. It's like we have to plan all around just taking an hour trip somewhere. It's a pain in the butt. But such is life. If we wanted to go somewhere, we'd have to have the kids stay here and take care of the dog, and because Magnus is the goodest boy, and he deserves to have good caregivers. And sometimes, the kids, they, even though they're 20 and 25, they hee-hoo. So I love them dearly, but sometimes they just hee-hoo. So working out all that's fun, especially with the wife not being able to take off work like a normal job because of being in healthcare, and me being what I do. Yeah, brain fart central, dude. Yeah, more like constipation. Mental constipation is where I would put it. Yeah, he's just a few hours from you there. Yeah, I haven't. Last time I was in Wisconsin was 02, 03, somewhere in there, back when we were doing all the testing for lightning and stuff, working alternative energy stuff. We went out to Stevens Point to the big hippie central alternative energy fair they had out there. It was crazy. That was crazy time. It was almost like Woodstock, but then there was techie people there too. Some decent food and stuff like that. Got to see a lot of hippie chicks running around with their baby feeders hanging out. That was kind of interesting. Everywhere you look, you're seeing a pair. It was like, whoa. And then they like raise their arm, and I'm like, dang, she has more hair under her arm than I have in my beard. What the heck? So, did not partake. Though we did take and went up to Madison and saw the original Hulk movie that came out with Eric Bana back in the day. Was like, what was it, the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Hulk, where he like leaps and flies and the wind's like flying through his hair, the one that Ang Lee did. Yeah, it was kind of stupid in a lot of aspects, and other aspects it was actually kind of cool. But yeah, we went and saw that, and that was like the highlight of the trip for me. Went to see a stupid freaking crappy Marvel movie back then, and we had some good food, had a couple good beers. It was a good time. She's a dude. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Pretty much. No, for real. You could like braid that stuff down. I think some of them actually had braids up under their arms, like hanging down and stuff. It was nasty. Smelled like a freaking cow farm. If it has an apple, it has a banana. That's for real. True story. If it has an apple, it has a banana, and chances are they're tucking up the baloney pony. Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of weirdos that are into that. Sorry. I don't go for stable animals. Not my thing. Not my thing. But yeah, Girth Brooks is not into that kind of thing. It's very bad. It's very bad. I don't even think John He'd go there. I know Girth Brooks wouldn't. I brought up like joking around about Girth Brooks, and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, Garth Brooks, blah blah blah." I'm like, "No, not Garth Brooks. Girth Brooks. Who's that?" That's supposed to be a sheep. ACR, that joke's bad. That's bad. That's funny. Who's Girth Brooks? I got friends in low places. Yep. Who's Girth Brooks? Well, I've never had one of these before.
You guys are just pissing me off today. You don't even know who Girth Brooks is? Oh my god, you guys.
It's so much harder to do it when you got to dip in. My mother-in-law is calling me now. She can leave a voicemail. No, definitely not watching.